Where are the Hightowers in Game of Thrones? Westeros is one of the most complex and fascinating worlds in fantasy. House of the Dragon did an excellent job showing the uniqueness of the Targaryens and several houses unseen in Game of Thrones. We saw the inner workings of politics, society, and the world through various characters from different houses. One of its greatest insights was looking into houses like the Velaryons, Blackwoods, and Hightowers. While Game of Thrones was excellent in showing the stories and problems of the 9 great houses, many other major houses were forgotten. Among the oldest and proudest houses in the House of Dragon is House Hightower. Today in Fantasy Archive we will explore this ancient family from the Reach whose wealth, history, and influence allows them to stand as tall as any great house. At first glance, they don't seem to have played a big role in the series, at least until you dig deeper. Aspiring Meisters pay close attention as we learn about their origins, their unknown power, and how they survive tough times. Stay tuned as we go over what this family is doing throughout the plot of Game of Thrones. Before exploring their role in the series, we should provide an overview of who the Hightowers are. House Hightower of Oldtown makes their home in the Reach, Westeros' southwestern region. Their words are, "We light the way." They are the bannermen of House Tyrell of Highgarden. The fertility and wealth of the Reach make the Tyrells one of the wealthiest houses on the continent, and the Hightowers are their most powerful vassals. Their seat, Oldtown, is one of the largest settlements in the Seven Kingdoms, rivaling King's Landing in size and wealth. Oldtown supposedly existed during the time of the First Men, with the Hightowers being their kings. King Uthor Hightower and his sons commissioned Bran the Builder to create many of its prominent landmarks, like the Citadel, which trains all maesters, including a young Samwell Tarly and the namesake Hightower. Their seat is a massive lighthouse that stands as the largest structure in Westeros, even taller than the Wall. Their city allowed the family to grow rich, and the Hightowers alone are said to be able to raise 20,000 soldiers in times of war. Despite that, the Hightowers preferred trade over war, which allowed them to survive. When the Andals first arrived, they chose to cooperate with them instead of resisting, and they did the same with Aegon the Conqueror. When he began his conquest of Westeros, they wisely surrendered to him instead of fighting, allowing them to maintain their wealth and influence. The only time the Hightowers were major aggressors during the war was the Dance of the Dragons, and book readers will know how that turned out for them. Although not many Hightowers have appeared in the series, their family shaped the lives of several major characters such as Jaime Lannister and Jorah Mormont. The first of the major Hightowers is Geralt Hightower. Also known as the White Bull, he served as Lord Commander under Aerys II and mentored Jaime Lannister, who considered Geralt one of the greatest knights. Geralt eventually turned against Aerys once he saw his descent into madness and joined forces with Prince Rhaegar. Geralt, Arthur Dayne, and Oswell Went would remain in the Tower of Joy, guarding Lyanna Stark before being slain by Ned Stark. Speaking of the North, let's head to the opposite side of the continent and see how far this family's influence has spread. The Hightowers have played a role in shaping the life of a particular knight, Sir Jorah Mormont. While celebrating their victory in the Greyjoy Rebellion, a tourney was held in Lannisport where Jorah would meet Lynesse Hightower and instantly become infatuated with her. Despite coming from a poor northern house, Lord Leighton Hightower would allow them to marry. Unfortunately, this marriage would not last, as Jorah could not provide the lifestyle that Lynesse was used to. The two would go into exile after selling poachers to slavers to raise funds. Lynesse would eventually leave Jorah for a wealthy merchant prince and act as his chief concubine. Despite that, Jorah would never stop loving Lynesse, and a big part of his infatuation towards Daenerys would be her resemblance to his former wife. At first glance, the Hightowers have lost most of their influence since the Dance of the Dragons. From the Queen and the Hand of the King, the Hightowers have been reduced to just another Tyrell vassal. A closer look paints a different picture, as they still have ties to the royal family and can still play kingmaker. During the onset of the War of the Five Kings, the Hightowers would join their liege lords in supporting Renly Baratheon. They would remain loyal even after Renly's assassination. Instead of joining Stannis' attack on King's Landing, they would assist Joffrey and the Lannisters and drive back Stannis in the Battle of the Blackwater. After the battle, we don't see much of the Hightowers in the book or the TV shows, at least none bearing their name. What we do see is plenty of major characters with Hightower blood. Lord Leighton's other daughter, Aeleri Hightower, married Mace Tyrell, the ruler of House Tyrell. This would mean that all the Tyrell children we see, from the gallant Knight of Flowers to young Queen Marjorie, are Hightowers in blood. Among their other children is Willis Tyrell, Mace's heir, who was crippled by Oberyn Martell and Garland Tyrell, the knight who posed as Renly during the Battle of the Blackwater. Aeleri Tyrell joins the rest of her family to witness Joffrey and Marjorie's wedding. As Marjorie is married to Joffrey and made Queen of the Seven Kingdoms, the Hightowers have indirectly put another queen on the throne. However, like Queen Alicent, Marjorie must contend with the many threats in King's Landing, from a vengeful Cersei Lannister to a newly militarized Faith militant. Marjorie's grandfather Leighton Hightower remains at his seat, and for good reason. Shortly after Joffrey and Tywin's assassination, Euron Greyjoy is crowned King of the Iron Islands and promises to conquer Westeros. His first target is the Reach, raiding its coastline with Oldtown being his end goal. Hearing this news, the Hightowers have taken charge on the Reach's defenses. Lord Leighton and his children are working to prepare Oldtown for the Ironborn offense. Leighton's sons, Baelor and Gunther, are fortifying the harbor and building additional ships to use against the Ironborn longships, while their brother Garth has taken charge of training the sailors and fighters. To stiffen their garrison, Leighton sent another son, Humphrey, to Lys to meet with Lynesse and request her help. With her connections to the Free Cities, they hope Lynesse would hire Sel's sail fleet. Aside from these martial plans, the Hightowers are reaching into their bag of tricks and fighting magic with magic. Lord Leighton himself is holed up in the Hightower where he is consulting with his daughter, Melora the Mad Maid, about magic and spells they can use to defeat Euron. As the Ironborn take more territory, they inch closer to Hightower lands. Euron and his Ironborn have already captured multiple islands and towns, leaving Oldtown vulnerable to attack. So far, the Hightowers have played a secondary, if still important, part of the series. They play a critical role in the Reach, influence politics in King's Landing, and affected Daenerys and Jorah's relationship. There is a reason to believe that might change in the future. With the Tyrells in King's Landing or occupied elsewhere, the only thing preventing Euron from getting control of the Reach are the Hightowers. It is widely speculated that this will happen in George R.R. Martin's upcoming book, The Winds of Winter. With Samwell already in Oldtown, we have a POV character that can introduce us to House Hightower. He is also in the perfect place to see the Hightower/Ironborn battle, which has been dubbed the Battle of Blood. There have been many theories about this battle, with the popular idea being that Euron would use the ensuing carnage as a blood sacrifice. What this sacrifice is for, no one is sure. Some fans believe Euron is trying to summon krakens from the deep, or hope that the battle will attract dragons. Regardless of these theories, one thing is clear. House Hightower has a role in the books as the stage is set for an epic clash of titans.